Well, good evening. This is John. I apologize for the sun glaring off that one side of my face. I'm sitting here by the river as calm as glass right now and making me wish I'd brought my kayak today, but I did not expect these type of conditions. So rather than being out in my kayak and doing some nice nature photography on this beautiful fall day, I'm here with another off the cuff. And this really is one of the more off the cuffs, because I don't even have many notes to go by. I'd like to talk today a little bit about competency-based education, which is really the new wave of reform, because they seem to be coming at us not in waves, but like tsunami-type waves, one after another. And essentially, what competency-based education does, its premise is we'll just sit our kids in front of a computer screen and let them answer questions about their given topic, but the focus is on English language arts and on mathematics. So I'll use math as my example. And we'll put some problems in front of little Jimmy or Jenny or Hakeem or whatever politically correct name you wish to use. And, they'll answer these questions. Generally, they're going to be multiple choice questions because they have to be. Because the computer can't go through the written process step by step and give the kind of feedback that a human being can. But it can say A is right or A is wrong. So our little student will be in front of the screen and they'll have maybe 25 questions. And there'll be a predetermined software boundary that says they're successful or not. So say out of 25 questions, they would score maybe a 50%. The computer will say, all right, that was nice. And we'll type it out, nice little print. Good try. And then it will give the student another 25 multiple choice questions. Of course, it'll be more on the type of question that they missed, but it's just a computer screen doing multiple choice. So eventually, our little student will get through these and reach whatever magic number is determined that they've mastered the skill, and they'll move on to the next exercise. Maybe that's 70% proficiency, 75% proficiency. But all the while, your teacher is no longer a teacher. They might be monitoring and modeling problems every once in a while, but the bottom line is the majority of your child's time will be spent in front of a computer screen, which bothers me on several different levels, and I'll get to that. Let's forget about the research. Well, let's not forget about it, because apparently the people making the decisions have forgotten about it. The new research coming out about the kids and the screen time that they spend now, on their phones and at home and on their laptops and on their tablets, has been proven to now be a bit detrimental to not only them as people, but as far as their brain development is concerned also. Let's forget about memorizing those multiplication facts, which have now been shown to create great bridges and lay a tremendous foundation to make future mathematics and more complex mathematical computations easier, because, yes, it's rote memorization, but all these synapses are linking together when a child does this in their early ages and memorizes these basic facts. Research proves this. Let's forget about the cursive writing, which has already been thrown out due to the Common Core standards, even though research clearly shows that cursive writing, it builds bridges between both hemispheres of the brain, the left and the right hemisphere. Those two halves of the brain have all these bridges and connections being made due to cursive writing, which is much more than just making a fancy letter. But what the heck? We don't want these kids to actually believe or be able to read and interpret the Constitution on their own, because other people are more than willing to tell them what their rights are. But I digress. My point here is we are coming technologically heavy on the education of our children. And I do not believe that is a good thing. Because when you get right down to it, education's true business is the business of humanity itself. And the more we remove humanity from that equation, the worse our society is becoming and will become. And I think all you have to do is open your eyes and be aware of what's happening right now. And you realize that we are losing our own humanity. And to me, that is the most frightening thought of all. So be aware of the competency-based education and how much your children are being placed in front of the screens, and the testing and the benchmarking and the data collection. There's so much more to educating our children than what's being offered by this computerized generation being thrust upon us. And I would always ask, ultimately, who benefits from these decisions? Well, it's your computer makers, it's your software companies. And the bottom line is you need to remember they are a business to make money. They are not in the business to make better human beings. That's what parents in public education are supposed to be for. Lastly, I leave you with this thought regarding competency-based education and putting our children in front of screens to answer a bunch of multiple choice questions. The reformers have always touted 21st century skills, 21st century skills. Our kids need to be, have these 21st century skills. Well, the main 4 21st century skills that have been identified by the reformers and all the people pushing the software stuff and Common Core and all this crap, because that's what it is. The main 4 21st century skills, as identified by reformers, are communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. So someone please tell me how those 4 things are being addressed, let alone with competency-based education, where our kids are spending all their time in front of a computer screen to learn, but also by Common Core standards itself. And in the Common Core itself, where are we addressing communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity? We're not, because those things were not made to do that. They mention those things to sell it, but here's what I think about those 21st century skills. Those 4 skills are skills needed no matter what century you live in. Whether it was the 8th century, way back when, or 2, 3, 4 centuries from now. We will always need the ability to properly communicate, collaborate, think critically, and we need to have creativity. Those are not things done by computer programs and software programs. Those are accomplished through the course of human interaction. So I guess the bottom line is beware competency-based education, because competency-based education is really going to make a generation of incompetent people. This was a truly off the cuff, and I hope you enjoyed my surroundings as much as I enjoy being here. We cannot remove the humanity from public education, because true education is a very human endeavor. Have a good evening.